5 with Mike Ruzzi and Eva Mastromattio.
Welcome back. A pair of U.S. senators have introduced legislation that calls for term limits for Supreme Court justices. Currently, justices have life tenure on the bench. Some senators argue term limits will help restore trust in our highest court. Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp is joining us live tonight. Rachel, what do members think of this proposal?
Good evening, Eva. So some of them I spoke to say they're more focused on ethics reforms for our highest court. But Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, who is one of the bill's sponsors, told me this afternoon that he believes his legislation will not only restore confidence in the court, but he also thinks that it's going to make the nomination process more fair. Now, Senator Manchin, along with Vermont Senator Peter Welch, are proposing a constitutional amendment which would make justices have non-renewable 18-year term limits. The president would appoint a new justice every 2 years, regardless of when a current justice leaves the bench. Now, if enacted, this would only apply to new justices, not the ones currently serving their terms now. Senator Manchin tells me he's all for term limits across the board, not just at the court, but in the House and the Senate too. He believes this is the type of change that would restore confidence in the court, eliminate political gamemanship from the nomination process, and reinforce judicial independence. We also asked some other senators what they think of term limits for the court. While most of us tell us they haven't looked at the proposal itself, Senator Bob Casey of Pennsylvania says he doesn't have a fixed view of it yet, whether term limits should remain a lifetime or not, but he thinks term limits is something the Senate will have to wrestle with. What do you think about just term limits in general for Supreme Court justices?
I don't know. I haven't. I'll have to give that some more thought.
And I just think as the time changes, when you have someone's there 30, 20, 30, 40 years, times change. 18 years is a nice term.
The main thing that has to happen in the Supreme Court is major league ethics reform. That has to happen. And it has to be a code of conduct for Supreme Court justices, just like every other judge has, and it has to be enforceable.
Now, Eva, there's been some recent surveys that show that public's confidence in the Supreme Court is at some of its all-time lowest points. Now, there have been some other ways to change up the court that have been proposed, either from members or from outside groups. For example, some suggest that we should have additional justices on the bench, while others say that there should be more congressional oversight for the court. Reporting live for Erie News Now, I'm Rachel Knapp. Eva.